First time he brings a cable to the stage.
It's done.
Well,
finally. So it's great to be back. Thank you, Jan. Good to be here. Also, not for us, not quite the first, second, or third time, but I think also the fourth. But I'm really happy and also a bit proud to be able to present to you some real progress, because as some of you who might be aware of what regulated industry like electricity world is about, might have an idea how complicated it can get to have a real world, calibrated, fully certified mobile electricity meter that you can connect with real world electricity contracts. But for all of you who might not know too much about Ubitricity, have a first overview. So we're about mobile electricity, we're about mobile virtual networks, how to connect the dots between machines that consume electricity, and it's basically, for now, all about EV charging. You know, these little Model 3 Teslas, they can drive when they are charged, and it might be a problem if you don't have your own driveway. For example, if you live in Berlin, or if you live in London, or wherever, you will want to find a place where you connect this lovely car, or a BMW as well, to the network. So how to get rid of this problem, which we perceive as a truly commercial one, connecting assets to the grid in a smart way. So that's a nice one. That's around where I live. Unfortunately, I had to lend the car, but I didn't have to lend the cable. That's mine. I brought it. And also, I know this lamppost very well. That's where I charge daily when I come back from work. It works very nice. Car will always be full in the morning. But now it's very important. We are not about holes in poles, right? I like to stress this because this is a strong picture. You might find this somewhat intriguing and say, well, that's a clever idea, but where's the business? So we're not about this poles only. We're about how it is possible to access your electricity even from a streetlight. And that's where mobile intelligence comes into play. So the idea is mobile electricity. We manage access to electricity as if it were data, right? You have these little devices in your pocket that are personalized and unique, and you can upload your content and you can download that content, and it's always on your account, and you will monetize on that machine, and it will be registered and controlled and so smart. It's very natural to connect the dots with intelligent machines. And everyone can send data to anyone all the time, no problem. But why do we see a problem to do that for electricity as well? Well, because it wasn't done, maybe, because history suggested that meters are always on the wall. Good news is, now it works. We can do as if it were data. So what do we mean by that? To drive down the cost to access the network ubiquitously, that's what the name is about. You have to drive down the cost for additional spots where you can connect. And that you do by shifting the effort from the stationary side to the mobile side. That is what Ubitricity is about. So instead of installing excess stuff and expensive equipment like meters and gateways and connectivities and service contracts in particular on the wall, get them off the wall, bring your own, and use the logic of mobile. So instead of having in terminal, bring your own device. You know that from telephone, you know that from smart internet access, and that's what we do for electricity now. So I bring my own electricity meter, I bring my own electricity subscription, I bring my own tariff, and that drives down cost for access points and allows smart integration, well, of cars. What I like about the convergence that is developing between, say, really Tado, like intelligent heating, or virtual power plants in the space of Sonnen, or intelligent production facilities introduced by Sunfire, is that all of this stuff needs to be connected to integrate distributed energy systems. And to reduce transaction costs for these systems is key mission of Ubitricity. So again, it's two components. It's a bit like a hotspot and a smartphone. Yeah, you could also call it a WhatsPot, but we decided to call it a simple socket because it's switchable, identifiable asset, and the mobile meter is an internet-connected smart meter with M2M communication that brings the utility service with it. So this was a hard job, really. It took longer than expected. It was a bit more expensive than expected, but it's good to have it. Now you can order it. That's the bread and butter case. So the typical use case is not the light pole. It will be charging at home, charging at work, and that is where fleet cars come into play, our first and foremost currently important customers. In this case, we like to call it the company cable. You might have a company car, you might have a company phone. If you have a company cable, you can plug it at home, and the bill goes to the company. So that's London. That's something I'm particularly proud about. We have by now proven the concept, also regulatory-wise and legally, in London. So the first borough has ordered to install these, and I will show you just in 30 or 20 seconds video why. So why was it so convincing for them to do that? Because it's so easy, right? That's it. Instead of installing a 30,000 euro charger, you have this exchange door that you swap. Of course, it's lower power, but for residential overnight charging, it's just fine. You see, I think, roughly 200,000 of these streetlights, and so far the boroughs I've been talking with, 7, that all want to enter into pilot. Size is around 20 to 50 sockets this year. All boroughs said, if it works, we will just retrofit all light poles, because we don't have to reserve any parking bays. It's just so easy. Cost is 10 times lower, at least. And why shouldn't we just do it if it works? Good news is, it works. So we can move on to the next slide. Thanks a lot. So the business, what we do is providing the data from these machines to utilities so that they can deliver a new service. It's a B2B2C model where we provide data for new utility business. It's not us to send electricity bills, we are sending the data. So for now, we started with a white label solution up and running. So if you are a utility and want to offer this new service, you might well understand that it's still undercritical because you have only 1,000 EV in the city and maybe can only acquire a small number of customers for now. So they want to book it as full white label solution. We can deliver that for you under your brand, your corporate design. So that's an example from the most recent sign-up we launched with in late March in Iserlohn. There are a lot of further talks ongoing, for example, with Stadtwerke Bremen, the one I added. We are deepening the talks, hopefully here as well, as I learned yesterday. That's an important one because RWE was in the forefront of the, let's say, not the haters, but the doubters when it comes to Ubitricity, in the sense of cannot be done, must not be done, should not be done, we're doing something else. So that this happened 2 weeks ago, I think, was a very interesting breakthrough for us, that this is now being considered. And you see this blue branded cable, so it could also be red, or it could also be yellow. Very shortly, for you who might not know, again, it's about recurring free from data provision for new utility. That is the business, so it's not one-off patent license fee. By the way, it's fully patented, also worldwide. It's about the recurring revenue from the transactions that are occurring in the virtual network. So are there any, I like to call them apps? Currently, this utility app that is running on the virtual platform is mobile electricity supply for EVs. Are there further apps that utilities could do on this platform? Indeed, there are, right? We think it's very interesting to consider this or maybe let's go back first, to consider this a cornerstone of future service ecosystem for the Internet of Energy things, because this means that you bill and meter and monetize electricity not on real estate level, say group level, but on device level. You put the tariff on the car. You put the monetization on the individual device. That means that you can bundle the device with the core business of utility, which is electricity supply. And that is really interesting, because you could, once you are able to meter behind the meter, as we are, so if I meter at the working place, it will be on my electricity bill, not on the workplace electricity bill. You can go down to machine level and start to meter and bill them separately. So mobility is a luxury application. Of course, it will never make sense economically to make this with, I don't know, with your toaster. Yeah? But when it comes to further application of higher demand, controllable load, things that are really, well, interesting to be considered to become smart, we think this is very important to consider. Why? Again, bundle core business utility with smart hardware. Consider the scalability of a mobile virtual network, because the distribution network we're actually operating is a free CapEx network, which is interesting because still you have to feed through all the electricity, which makes it interesting with regard to profitability aspects. It should be interesting that we have been able to integrate that into a second European jurisdiction within actually only 9 months. Why? Because it's supported by incumbents, network operators, and suppliers as well. And well, that last but not least, I think, opens the door for future further application beyond the 20 million EVs in the next 10 years. Yeah? Well, some say it's only 5 years away. We'll see, worldwide. So, thank you.